So let's say that you want to buy a vehicle in your business name, or better yet, let's say that you want to get the financing to buy the vehicle, or better yet, let's say you want to get the financing without a personal credit check and without a personal guarantee to buy the vehicle. That's exactly what I'm going to teach you today. Today, I'm going to teach you how you can go out and get financing to buy vehicles for your business. We're going to talk about the kind of financing that's available for you. We'll talk about financing. We'll talk about leasing. We'll talk about personal guarantees. We'll talk about how you can get approved for auto financing without a personal guarantee. I'm going to talk about you can buy fleets of vehicles and get financing to buy fleets of vehicles as well. And again, you're going to learn how to do this even if you have credit issues, even if you don't have collateral, even if you don't have cash flow, even if you're a newer business. I'm still going to show you ways you can get this done. So by the end of this training, you're going to know a lot of different ways and the actual sources who will give you auto financing, and you're going to learn how to tap into this without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. So do you need a vehicle? Well, and this could be one, and this could be a fleet. So we're going to talk about both today. It could be anything from a truck, a car that you're getting, could be a company car to go to client meetings, could be a truck for long haul, the trucking business, or maybe a transportation business, could be a van, could be a bus. I mean, a lot of different types of vehicles that you may need for your business, and a lot of different kind of financing, probably as many different types of financing that could work for you as vehicles that you may buy. Now, your business might even offer local transportation from the office to local public transportation station or airport. The only limits really is your imagination on what you're actually going to use vehicles for. So even if you're a home-based business, you still might need a vehicle to go to networking events, to go out to meetings. So all I'm saying is if you're using a vehicle for your business, there's a good chance you're able to get financing specifically for that purpose. And Elizabeth, thanks for coming in. Elizabeth sharing everybody. I appreciate that. Elizabeth, thank you very much. She shared Justin, Alexis, and Monica. I appreciate that. Michael, thanks for tuning in from LinkedIn, and more people. Elizabeth, you are my favorite person. I can't thank you enough. Elizabeth is sharing and mentioning a lot of people to help they can come into the stream. If you get value from this, do me a favor, love the video, share the video, name other people in the stream to bring them in as Q Elizabeth is doing, and that way they can get this information as well. So if you're not flush with cash, well, then you may need a loan to do this, right? And according to Value Penguin, interest rates can range from under 2% to 18% on auto financing for businesses. So again, when I see a wide range of interest, what that tells me is it tells me that works for wide range of risk. So what's nice about this is even if you are a low risk or a high risk, you're still able to come in and get auto financing for your business. So according to First Commonwealth Credit Union, whether a vehicle is purchased new or used will affect the number of years you can finance it, and the mileage will affect that as well. So keep in mind when we talk about how long you can get financing for, okay, it's really based on those two things. What's the mileage of the vehicle? What's the year of the vehicle? Now I'm going to give you a little interesting tidbit. Because I have friends that use what I'm going to show you today to buy very nice cars for their coaching business, like Bentleys and Rolls Royces. And I love listening to how they all justify why they have to have a Rolls Royce for the coaching business and the sales that they make from that. But why I'm telling you this is that stuff financing like that on exotics, you can actually get as much as 10 years, even on stuff that's 5-6 years old, because it doesn't appreciate. So it's interesting because a lot of people don't even realize that they stay away from exotic and high-end vehicles because of the cost. But the reality is the payments can be less than financing a Mercedes, for example, because you're able with a Mercedes to get 5-6 year financing, and with an exotic, you're actually able to get 10-year financing. And again, I know a lot of people that buy those nice cars and then use it to make all kinds of money for the coaching business. Plus, other owners may require personal guarantee with loans, and we're going to talk about today how you can actually get around those personal guarantees. So speaking of which, commercial vehicle loans can come with a personal guarantee requirement, or you can get them without personal guarantee requirement. Now, if you're a co-borrower, the loan will most likely report to your personal credit report, or if you're a borrower or co-borrower, and that affects things like your debt to income ratios, creates all kinds of problems. Look, if you get an auto loan, if you get a mortgage, you need to anticipate that your credit scores as a consumer will drop 100 points. Will they? Maybe more, maybe less, okay? I can tell you my mom and dad just got a car loan and their credit scores were barely affected. I talk to other people and I see other credit reports where I see 100-point drops. And the reason for that is because of utilization. Utilization is 30% of your consumer FICO score. And a lot of us think that utilization is credit cards, revolving credit cards. That's not the case. Utilization factor for your FICO consumer credit score takes into account loans and credit cards and credit lines. So when I go get a mortgage or I go get a car loan, then let's say I get a car loan for 20 grand. Well, then that means I borrowed 20 grand, I owe 20 grand. I maxed out my utilization on that account. Now, as I pay down that car loan a year, 2 years in, my scores will start to rebound. But whenever you very first get a car loan or a mortgage, your scores will drop. Expect a 100-point drop and you won't be disappointed. So this is the problem. By being a signer, by being a co-signer, by getting that vehicle on your consumer credit report, if you're using it for your business, it affects your debt to income ratio when you want to get houses, other cars, etc. And it also radically lowers your score for probably about 1 to 2 years in most cases, depending on what's your credit report. Like I said, my parents, very small dip because they have so much outstanding credit that it offsets that. But for a lot of the rest of us that aren't of that age group in 70s and 80s, then, we don't have that luxury. And unfortunately, it will drop your credit scores. Okay. So, and I've got a lot of people coming in. So I just want to say hello to everybody that I can here this morning. I'm going to go back to that in a minute. So you personally will make sure the loan is paid. That's what the purpose of a personal guarantee is for. Personal guarantee be considered a contingent liability to you personally, but not report to your credit report. Some loans have a prepayment penalty if you pay them off early. If you plan on paying off the loan early, you may want to make sure that you negotiate away from the prepayment penalty or ask that question. It's a great question before you even think about getting auto financing. Okay, and let's talk about avoiding a personal guarantee. In general, you need to have good business credit to be able to get away from a personal guarantee. I don't even know why I put in general. That's the way that it is. Everybody wants to get away from personal guarantees. There's only one way to do it. Well, there's 1.5 ways, maybe 2. Okay, so the one way to do it is collateral. There's a lot of financing out there. You can get equipment financing, inventory financing, account receivable financing. You can actually get around guarantees in some cases because they have an asset they can come grab if you default. But in almost all other financing, then what happens is you're going to have a personal guarantee unless you build business credit. That's the way around guarantees. Because when we build business credit, think of it like this. This is a conversation with the lender where the lender says, okay, I need your personal credit report and you're going to have to sign for this. He said, nah, I don't want to sign for it. I'm going to actually just do this in my business name. And the person's like, I don't know if you can do that. You're like, yeah, I can do it. My business has a strong enough credit profile and score and a history of paying a lot of bills on its own that it doesn't need me to sign as a guarantor. And then they pull the business credit report. I'll show you the lenders that will do this later in this training. And then they say, yeah, you're right. You have enough credit. Your business can pay its debt. And it's, based on the revenue of the business and based on everything else, it looks like it can repay this debt. And the credit profile proves the business has a history of repaying its debts. So we'll give you that loan. So it's always necessary. You cannot get around guarantees on auto financing unless you build business credit. You have to build business credit, and I'll teach you how to do that today. Not build business credit, how to get the guarantee away. But again, it does require good business credit. Absolutely. Watch Out Media. Good morning, Bismarck. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate Bismarck Sanchez coming in. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Marquise Moore. Hello. Thanks for coming in. Paradise Ice is here. Love this, Alexandra. Whoa. I don't know if that was Alexandra from LinkedIn. Thanks for coming in. Alexandra, appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. And thanks for coming in from Maui, Hawaii. I appreciate that as well. Okay, so a decent amount of time in business can also help to remove a personal guarantee requirement. And good personal credit can also help to convince a lender that they don't need a personal guarantee from you, but very rare. Almost all cases, if you're using personal credit, you're going to use a personal guarantee. Only way I've really seen around it is to be able to build the business credit. So often a lender will require that you purchase at least 3 trucks if you're looking for commercial truck financing. Okay, this is to ensure the business can make enough money with those trucks to actually pay back the debt if one breaks down. So again, I'm going to talk about a lot of types of financing today. What I'm talking about with this is if you're buying commercial truck loans, and especially times they want you to buy them in bulk in case one breaks down, then you still have the others in the fleet to be able to pay it back. So for example, if you have 10 truck, one breaks down, you still have 90% of your fleet on the road. Okay, but if you only have one truck that breaks down, well, then you have zero money to repay that debt. So unless you can prove that you have other means of dependable income, a lender's not going to look at. So if you're starting a transportation business and you say, look, I need a truck to start my transportation business, they're going to be pretty nervous. They're going to actually want to give you a truck loan for 2-3 trucks because that way they have a better chance of getting paid back if something ever happens in your fleet. Okay. Now, risk factors for getting a loan for trucks include being a new business, having poor credit, having an owner or being an owner operator, having low cash reserves, buying an old truck. So those are things that can contribute to being higher risk. And new owner operators tend to have a tough time getting approved for a loan because of a lack of credit and revenue history. And having any of these risk factors can add a much higher interest rate, 10, 15, 20%. In the vehicle space, we see high interest rates sometimes in 20% range, even as a consumer. So again, you want to make sure you mitigate all risk factors Set up your business where it's fundable. I'm not going to talk about that in this training. I've got a bunch of other training on that topic, but set up your business where it's fundable. Make sure you address your consumer credit. Make sure you build your business credit. Make sure you manage your business bank account responsibly. All those things can put you in the lower risk category, which is going to help you get lower interest rates as well. So buying a commercial vehicle requires some kind of documentation. Sometimes they want to see the amount of money you have for a down payment. They want to verify that. The vehicle you need, the cost associated with buying the vehicle. You must provide documentation that proves you're the owner of the business. Could be business licenses, could be partnership agreements, could be your entity documents, your EIN documents. Any of that stuff could be needed as well. So some things you could expect to be able to provide there. When I went and did my first Mercedes in my business name, before I knew what business credit was, so I did personally guarantee this, I had to supply my entity papers. I had to supply my EIN verification from the IRS. Okay, that's what I supplied to them. Some things you can expect. Okay, you may also have to provide personal documentation. This may include your personal credit score, credit history, authorization of a personal credit check. If you don't have business credit, I'm going to teach you today how to get around that. And a PG, again, may be necessary if you don't have enough established business credit, as we talked about. And if you're a sole proprietor and the business is under your social, well, then you are the borrower and the guarantor. Remember, you're always personally liable for what happens in the business. If you're a sole proprietor, I'm not illegal, I'm not an attorney, and I'm not an accountant. This isn't legal or accounting advice, but that's the way that it is. So keep in mind, if you're a sole proprietor, you're not going to be able to get away from guarantees. You are the business, so you're going to be guaranteeing it. So to apply under a corporation, you need the articles of incorporation, which must list that you have at least 20% ownership stake in the business. They might want proof of your EIN, as I mentioned, tax returns, bank statements, cash flow statements. Sometimes they ask for that, sometimes they don't. Same as buying a car. Sometimes they want to see when you're higher risk, your pay stubs and tax returns. Sometimes when you're lower risk, like they don't ever ask me for documentation of income, ever. I've never been asked for that. I could think of when buying a car, but my dad co-signed for my very first car, and I've had good credit since. Well, not since. The whole mortgage crisis thing and owning a mortgage company was not good for my credit report. But what I'm saying is that you're able to come in and be able to get around without income documentation in a lot of cases. I'm just giving you an idea of what you might expect they may actually come in and do. And Milwaukee in the house, I appreciate you coming in. Your content's always valuable. Thank you very much. And Howard Harris is the same way, going crazy with inviting people in here. Howard, that means a lot. I really appreciate you doing that. I need a Corvette for my business. Q Elizabeth Shaw, you deserve a Corvette for your business. I'm going to teach you how to get it without a personal guarantee and personal credit check. First video, looking forward to content. Jeffrey, I appreciate you coming in from LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much. It means a lot that you're here. So loan proposals. It should show why you want a vehicle loan. How will you use the vehicle in your business? What your business does, and you're going to provide information about how you plan on growing the business. Now, this isn't always needed. Again, I'm telling you some things that you can expect, especially if you're a newer business, especially if this is your first commercial vehicle or commercial vehicle loan. This is definitely something that they could be asking you for. Loan proposal, how much you want to borrow. Actually, I just went over this. How much you need for a down payment, the details about any collateral as well. So something else I want to point out here is that oftentimes we combine financing to get around the down payment. So let's say you're buying a commercial vehicle in the business name, and let's say they want 10% down. Let's say you're buying a $50,000 vehicle. For a lot of us, we don't think about down payment because we're not thinking along the lines of commercial vehicles. Commercial vehicles, one of our clients got approved for $145,000 in Ford and bought one truck with it. It was awesome. I've never seen a truck look like this before. But I mean, commercial vehicles can really get up there. So let's say that you're supposed to put $5,000 down. Well, don't forget, there's all kinds of other financing you can get to cover that down payment. So never feel like you're going to buy a vehicle for your business. You need money. You got to put that money down. Look into other creative ways that you can get financing. We just did a session on microloans not too long ago. That's a great way to tap in, even as a startup business, to get the money for down payment. So never think that a down payment really has to come from you. It can come from OPM, other people's money, using other types of lending and credit issuing products as well. So with PNC Bank, let's talk about some specific sources. Borrow up to $250,000 with terms up to 72 months. Get up to 100% financing for new vehicles, 90% for used. Each owner with 25% or more interest in the business is required as a guarantor, and to apply online, you must be a PNC business banking customer. Otherwise, you've got to apply in a branch. Now, one of my, and also companies with 3 years or more time in business are more likely to be approved. Business owners will be required to guarantee any bank loans with them. And PNC is that way with credit cards too. I like PNC Bank. I mean, they give a lot of our clients good credit lines, but it's really hard to get around them with personal guarantees. Don't worry, I'm going to give you sources that you can, but PNC Bank is not my favorite for getting around personal guarantors. they're going to look at your personal credit report. They're going to want a clean credit history. Significant loan balances, open credit accounts can diminish credit worthiness. There can be no evidence of collection accounts, charge-offs, foreclosures, anything like that, especially that's recent. And PNC will check your business's Equifax commercial credit report if you're getting the account in the business name. So far, I've not found that PNC Bank is, again, lenient towards giving you an auto financing without a guarantee, but Ally is. You can absolutely get Ally. Ally is one of my favorite sources to be able to get financing without a personal guarantee. They offer specialty vehicle financing for equipment such as cranes, lift devices, towing equipment, vehicles as well. You can modify trucks, vans, other commercial vehicles, or comply with accessibility needs for mobility. And you also can get heavy-duty truck financing with them, terms up to 75 months, business name only financing for qualified customers. So that means that if you have enough accounts in your credit report, usually 14 is what they want. And if one of them has a $10,000 high limit. So we pull your business credit report. One of them has a $10,000 limit that you're given. And we see the 14 trade lines on those business credit reports across all three. Equifax, Experian, Dun & Bradstreet, 5 here, 9 here. You know, we add them all up. They're 15, 14 or more. Then you're able to get financing business name only without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. Financing for vehicles up to 6 model years with up to 700,000 miles, depending on collateral type. Again, 700,000 miles might seem like a lot, but you've never seen my Ford diesel truck. That thing will run forever, okay? So a lot of vehicles out there, like I said, have way higher miles than special commercial vehicles. So Ally is one of my personal favorite sources for no personal guarantee financing for businesses because they finance other types of vehicles. You'll see as we dive in here, there's other ones that are very specific to one type of vehicle, but Ally will actually help you with many other different kind of vehicles. And Mad Max says, hey, Todd, been a partner since 2009. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming in. And Maura Cobra says, business credit is low risk at 95, working on that. Great job. I need 10 trucks. We're going to talk about that today. Paul Gene Dean says, is there such a thing as purchasing or buying other people's credit? Not legally, and nor do you want to. You can do that theoretically, but it won't work because the minute that if you went and bought somebody else's business that has a credit profile established, the minute the ownership changes, all credit issuers are alerted that an ownership change has occurred, and they often re-age, the credit bureaus and lenders re-age it to it being a new business. So you have to be careful with that. It's not necessarily something I'd recommend. And Al says, how can you undo a vehicle purchase that we already did, really didn't need to buy, as I wanted to get through our business, not personally. As far as I know of, there is no way unless you work with that dealership. If the dealership didn't already get the deal done with the lender, it is possible. If they did get the deal done with the lender, the only way I found is to buy back the vehicle from the dealership, which I've tried to do before, and it's not cheap. So commercial vehicles through Bank of America with the Business Advantage Auto Loan, you get 30-day rate lock guarantee. Minimum vehicle purchase of $10,000. Minimum age 5 years. Vehicle must have less than 75,000 miles of BOA. Preferred rewards for business clients can get an interest rate discount. Vehicles over 2.5 tons can be financed through Bank of America equipment loan. APR is based on your credit history, approval, these type of things. Again, Bank of America, not my favorite source for getting them without a personal guarantee, but it is a good place to be able to go get commercial vehicle financing. So some other sources I want to talk to you about today is Ford and GM. Ford and GM both offer this kind of business credit without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. Both Ford and GM, you can only buy Ford cards with Ford and GM cards with GM. And with them, you're going to need 14 accounts on your business credit reports and a $10,000 high. So there's some other sources. We talked about PNC, Bank of America, harder to get away from the guarantee. We've also talked about Ally, the best place, in my opinion, to get no personal guarantee, no credit check financing for multiple different kind of vehicles. And then you've got GM, Ford, and Toyota to buy GM, Ford, or Toyota cars. They're all going to want about 14 accounts in your business credit reports, and they're going to want you to have one account with a $10,000 high to get approved. If you have that, then you're able to get approved without a personal guarantee and credit check. Now, according to Bank of America, there are advantages and disadvantages to both leasing and buying, being aware that the tax code's always changing, and the information is current as of the time I'm doing this, but it can change. Purchases are made with post-tax dollars, but you can lease with pre-tax dollars. But leasing won't give you depreciation deductions, so some things to talk to your accountant about. However, you still may get some tax advantages from leasing. Look, leasing is typically cheaper than buying. It's that simple. That's usually the way that it is. But The trade-off is that leasing, in a lot of cases with vehicles, you're locked into a certain amount of mileage and a certain amount of time, which doesn't work for every business or every individual. So when leasing, you may be able to get Section 179 tax advantages. Section 179, the IRS allows you to fully deduct the cost of some newly purchased assets in the first year. Okay, but your company can also lease and still take full advantage of the Section 179 deduction, but be aware through that, it can change, okay, even at the end of the year, mid-year. So you might not have that deduction, especially in a case like next year where we have a presidential change, right? I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. But that, as of the time I'm doing this, that is how that works. You need to look at Section 179. Hence, you should always talk to a competent tax professional before you buy. And again, know that especially in a year like this where the presidency changes, like we'll see next year, anything could happen, right? Because the new administration could change what we currently have in place before your taxes are filed at the end of the year. So more financing options. One option is SBA commercial vehicle loan. A lot of people don't know you can get those. To get SBA loans, you generally have to have exhausted all other possible funding options. Heavy-duty vehicle financing is designed specifically for large trucks and all other heavy-duty vehicles, which you might find difficult getting financing for, much more difficult than a car loan. Okay, and your business can use this option to even build a fleet. So SBA does have financing for vehicles. A lot of people don't know about that, and a lot of people don't realize that SBA 504 loans aren't just for real estate. They're actually for equipment, and vehicles in a lot of cases fall under the equipment category. So SBA loans are another great way to look. And some lenders let you use a business line of credit that you can use to buy multiple trucks, lines of credit, etc. We've got a great program called Credit Line Hybrid. If you've got a 680 FICO score, even as a startup business, even as no collateral, you can get up to 150,000 in credit lines. You can use those credit lines to then come in and actually purchase a vehicle as well. And specialty vehicle financing is best for businesses looking to modify a business. So there's even financing you can get where you're able to get one loan for multiple fleets of vehicle or for multiple vehicles. And there's also financing specifically for the build out of a vehicle, the modification of a vehicle as well. So there is commercial vehicle financing, not without a personal guarantee, but there is specific financing for the purpose of financing or refinancing commercial vehicles, buses, ambulances, vans, trucks. So there is specialized commercial vehicles financing for the purchase of vehicles, and also for purchasing a fleet of vehicles, and also for the upgrade of a vehicle or the modification of a vehicle as well. So some things to think about. So let's talk about personal tax implications of using vehicles for your business. According to TurboTax, the IRS is rather fussy about deductions for using a vehicle for business. The IRS allows employees and self-employed individuals to use a standard mileage rate. The figure can and does change, so make sure you check it. And many vehicle expenses are deductible by an individual if they can't pay them. And these expenses include maintenance and tolls. So the way that I've always had it explained, I'm not an accountant, so I'm not positive, is that I get one or the other. I can even write off my gas, my expenses for the vehicle, or my mileage, and they really prefer mileage because it's just a simpler way to go. One more reason you might want to get commercial vehicle financing, because when you get financing and the vehicle's in the business name, then you're not trying to write off a personal vehicle, which can really get you scrutinized. Okay, if you're buying a company car and using the expense tracking option, you may be able to claim your vehicle taxes each year. And this only works in states where taxes based on the value of the actual vehicle. This is also known as a personal property tax. And you'll be able to claim this as a business expense as long as all other costs, including the sales tax. So some things you want to think about. You want to talk to your accountant before you do this, because there's a lot of tax ramifications for how you actually set this up to buy a vehicle in your business name. Okay, you may be able to get a big tax break by purchasing a qualifying SUV or pickup. You'll be eligible for a Section 179 deduction of up to $25,000. And this is if you use a heavy SUV or SUV pickup van, 50% or more of the time for your business. And this big deduction only applies to the first year you put that vehicle in use. And you'll need to make sure that the vehicle meets the IRS specifications to qualify. So again, a lot of tax benefits here for doing this as well. And how can you, okay, we talked about, is it possible to purchase a vehicle for my business if your business is less than 2 years? Absolutely. There is no time and business requirement. You can do that for any of these options I've told you. You could even build the business credit in less than 2 years and get it without a personal guarantee or credit check, Troy, just so you know that. And then Skip says the finance person at the dealer will be your best friend. Skip used to work in the auto field, and he's right. When I got my first Mercedes lease in my business name, it was a dealership that helped me get it done. So even Mercedes does it, but they didn't do it without a personal guarantee at the time. So work with somebody at the dealership. They can help you as well. Steve, what's up? Thanks for coming in, man. I really appreciate that. And Skip says Ford is good. Ford is one of the best I found out there that does these outside of GM, and we talked about that as well. And Chappelle says, do you have to have 14 trades on each report? 14 across all three. So in order to get these vehicle financing options without a personal guarantee, you need 14 accounts across all three bureaus. So I can have 5 with Equifax, 5 with Dun & Bradstreet, and 4 with Experian, and that totals 14. 14 payment experiences in total will open up these financing options for you. And Steve says, here's something free for everyone who reads this. When you did your vehicle to buy, contact me. Okay, and Steve's got something there too if you guys want to look into the chat. Divine Wealth says, hey, Ty, I love the content. Glad to be a partner. Thanks very much. I appreciate your partnership. It means a lot. Okay, so business credit, buying a vehicle for business. Good business credit will open up more options for you. As we talked about, this is going to get you better rates, going to get you better terms, even if you don't get it without the guarantee and credit check. And don't forget, it's the only real way that you're really going to be able to get in there and get this without a personal guarantee and credit check. I'm going to open up our finance suite real quick. I just want to see if there's anything else in here relating to auto financing that I think I want to go over with you today. And I also, while I'm doing that, want to make sure that I address any other questions you have as we get ready to wrap up today. So a lot of things, right? A vehicle is a significant purchase for any business. Okay, many financing options require a personal guarantee. If you want to get around guarantees, the key is to be able to build business credit. If you build business credit, that's what gives you the ability to be able to get financing without the personal guarantee and credit check. And remember, when we talk about building business credit, it takes about 14 accounts to get good business credit or to get an auto financing without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. And remember, you need to have at least one of those with a $10,000 limit. If you do that, that can get you around personal guarantees and credit check. And as we've talked about, some of my favorite sources are Ally, Ford, and here's for Ford commercial vehicles. So if this is our business finance suite, it's the system our clients use to be able to build business credit. And you can see here that with Ally, you can lease or loan. They report the loan that you get to Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian. You can also see here's Ford commercial financing. They report to all 3 credit reports and credit bureaus. They also offer loans and leases. And I mentioned Toyota as well. They report to only Equifax and Experian, and they will help you be able to get financing as well. But Ally by far is my favorite because Ford, you can buy Ford vehicles. GM, you can buy GM vehicles. Toyota, you can buy Toyota vehicles. And this gives you an idea of exactly what it takes to be able to qualify besides those 14 accounts. So an entity in good standing, EIN number with the IRS, business address matching everywhere, D&B DUNS number, business license, business bank account, and apply in business name only. And the dealer will let you know if you need a personal guarantee or not based on how many accounts you have on your business credit report. Okay, so that gives you an idea of Ally as well. So it gives you some insight with what to do with them. So particularly if you do not have a loan amount, or if you don't have a lot of credit in your name, you've got to be able to provide that personal guarantee and check out the tax implications. A lot of tax implications of how you actually get this loan in your business name. So you probably should talk to an accountant before you do this to make sure that you get it done the right way. Okay, and if we can ever help you along the way, let us know. We are here as well. And I want to answer any other final questions that you might actually have. And Dante says, Ty, I really need a recording of this particular video. You are watching on Facebook. If you go to Credit Suite's Facebook page, you'll see all of our recent videos, and this live stream is right there. It's also on LinkedIn and YouTube, just so you know as well, because we stream there all in real time. Okay, and I have Watch Out Media says, is commercial insurance a requirement when purchasing a car under a business? So you have to weigh pros and cons. Again, that's something to think about. And I'm not really positive. I don't know off the top of my head if you have to have commercial insurance if you do the insurance in the business name, although I do think that's a great point. And it's a great point, and it's something that you should look into. To all things, Jody, my commercial insurance went down considerably. Watch Out Media. So all things Jody says that her insurance went down getting the vehicle in the business name. So I appreciate that insight. L says finance person dealership was not our friend. They ran my spouse's credit 7 times and we didn't even know until after the fact. What you're describing is very common in auto dealerships. They will run your credit, and it used to be a tactic to even hurt your credit so you wouldn't shop elsewhere. But just so you know, Al, any inquiry in a 30-day time period that's an auto inquiry or a mortgage inquiry only counts into your consumer FICO score as 1 inquiry. So they could run it 7 times, but FICO only counts it as 1 inquiry. Any auto financing that they get within that time period, it only counts as one inquiry. Just so you know, that gives you some peace of mind there. Okay. And Jess says Credit Suite credit monitoring is amazing and effective value. Thank you, Ty. Yeah, you can go to creditsuite.com/monitoring if you ever want to see what's on your business credit reports now or how many trade lines you have, guys. And I really appreciate that, Jess. Thank you so much. And it's only $24 for you to be able to do so. And Troy says, will they have to be new vehicles? They won't. We talked about used as well. They will do used and new, but they all have individual requirements, whether it be new or used that you're buying. And it's all depending on that lender. Okay, you have to have commercial insurance, and each driver needs to supply ID. Divine Wealth, I appreciate you answering the question I didn't know the answer to. Any recommendations where to invest in a business license? I do it in my county. In Florida, you can get an occupational license here in my county. That's where I would go. I'd check your county and see if it's one of the easiest places I've found to get a license. So I would check your county. And Max says, I drive for Uber, lost 2 cars doing this. Any help or advice? Give me some information about what you mean losing cars, because the minute you say losing cars, I think about somebody driving a car into the water accidentally and disappearing, which happens all the time down here in Florida, by the way. Okay, and Emmett says, will the commercial financing apply even if I'm not using it for large trucks? Fleet but for small vehicles, yeah, absolutely. We talked about this. You could get a vehicle you're just using to run. And if I have a vehicle and I work from home, but I'm going to network events and all these other type of things, I can use it for that. I financed a Mercedes in the business name, and again, it was primarily the primary vehicle, but I used it a lot for the business. So an account can help you more with that. But you absolutely can do that. Okay, and Watch Out Media says, is there any truth to banks flagging Regis DaVinci Alliance virtual addresses now, like asking for a lease or utility bill? No, there's really not. And I'll tell you what, because PO boxes and UPS addresses are in a different bucket that is accessible by lenders and credit issuers, and virtual addresses aren't. Back in the 80s, they fought the fight with the government to be held as a different type of business. So they're not in the same bucket that lenders and credit issuers look at. Lenders and credit issuers will know if you're using UPS or PO boxes, but not virtual addresses, just so you know that. And Steve says, hit the like button. Loves, I appreciate you guys hitting the like and love button. And Everything SB says, do you have a business license for a record label? You don't need a business license for a lot of things. But if you have a business license, a lot more funding will open up for you just because you have it. Just to keep in mind. And the video will be available for replay on whatever channel you're watching, so you know. And can you send me a copy of this at again, I can't send you a copy of this, but if you just go to Facebook and go to Credit Suite's Facebook page, you'll be able to access this right away. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you need any help with building your business credit, give us a call, 877-600-2487, info@creditsuite.com, consult@creditsuite.com. On a call with us, we get your business credit reports for free. Guys, it's $249 from the bureau, so it's free for us. We get them, we review them, we give you tips and tactics to build your business credit. We see what's jacked up on your fundability, like what stuff's preventing you from getting loans now. We help you fix that stuff, and we qualify you for all financing you can get approved for right now as well. That all happens on a free consultation call just by giving us a call. If you got value, please help me out. Hit the like button, hit the love button, okay? And I really appreciate those of you here that actually mentioned other people's name and brought them into the conversation and shared as well. That means a lot. And I can see in real time who's liking, who's loving, and who's sharing. So I appreciate that. And also, if you got value here, then go to the top right of our page, creditsuite.com. You can access all of our social channels. You can subscribe on YouTube, click the bell, click all, and you'll be notified when we go live. Okay, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, we have daily tips. We've got a podcast you can listen on the go with a lot of advice on growing and scaling your business as well. And before I wrap up, I want to make sure that I answer any last questions that I see. Watch Out Media says, awesome. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you. More power and success to Credit Suite. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Rusty says, I got declined with Ford, but then I received a letter that I was approved for $17K. I like my 2013 Equinox, so that's under GMC. So maybe I'll try them. Been in business 2013. I have about 7 business credit reporting. Remember, Rusty, if you want to get around personal guarantee, you have to have 14 accounts reporting. It's not going to work with 7. You need 14. So get more accounts reporting before you go try to get that done. And Everything SB says, how much is Credit Suite before you leave? We never charge you anything to get financing. So if you come to us for financing, you're going to pay normal rates and fees lenders will pay, but we have due volume with them, so we get you a discount. So if you need financing, loans, credit lines, we never charge you any money to do that. If you want access to our business finance suite, which is our system here that we use to help business owners get business credit and financing and improve their fundability, and you get valuations for your business and everything else you need to successfully get money for your business and improve your fundability, work with our advising team through the process, work with our funding team through the process, process, it's $3,000. Or you can break it down into payments as well. You can access that on our website, creditsuite.com/pricing. And for about $1,000 more, you can become a partner and run your own business credit financing business. So we offer all the resources you need, the free reports, the guides, the ebooks, the email content, the videos, PowerPoints. We have a 7-step basic training that teaches you how to operate in the business credit financing space. You can add sales reps, manage commissions. You have a client dashboard. Basically, we give you everything you need to run your own business credit financing business. It's about $1,000 more than that, just so you know. Okay, and I've got a bunch more questions before coming in. Okay, Max says Credit Suite got nobody is helping nobody for free. With all this info is free, we just know where to find it. That said. Okay, I don't think we said Credit Suite Dev got a cost. Okay, so I just went over the prices for you guys. You'll see we give more free information on business credit financing in the space for people that don't want to pay. I mean, there's two types of people, right? You either value your time more than money or your money more than time. We're all in different places in our lives. So if you value your time more than money, then get with us. We can help you shave years off the business credit building process. And when working with us, we actually save you money because our credit monitoring is 90% cheaper. We get you around a lot of stuff that you pay on your own. We pay for some of the stuff for you, like 411 listing. So if you want to work with us, give us a call. We've got very affordable payment options. We don't even list on our website. If you don't, and you want to just take our free information, guys, we have a ton of free info. We got hundreds of videos on YouTube and stuff like that. So we try to create a world where you can have both. You can either work with us and expedite the process, get better results faster, or you can come in and still get really good results by following our free training. So Max, hopefully that helps you in that. And Emmett says, I'm going on my part, pass this on to my partner. I appreciate that. Great teaching. And my phone ticks on its own. Okay. Troy, we would still like to have you on as a guest for our BPM. That's great. Troy, message me on LinkedIn. I will respond. Sometimes I'm a day later, so because I get a lot of messages on there, but I absolutely will reply. Troy says, I'm interested in learning more about building business credit. We'll talk about that as well. And Terrence says, what's the best account to get for startups? For business credit building, I think the best accounts to get for startups are Uline is my favorite right now. Crown Office Supplies, I think, is favorite. And in SupplyWorks. Those are 3 of my favorite initial building business credit accounts that can help you. And from Facebook, I have a real estate investment company and need to know what's the best NAICS code or name to use for low risk. I couldn't tell you that. I don't know all the NAICS codes. A lot of people ask me that question. I'm like, I do not have them all memorized. But I can tell you that you can go to NAICS.com. I think it's called NAICS.com. And if you go to NAICS.com, then there you have the ability to figure out what NAICS code works better for you. So I'm going to wrap this up. Don't forget to give us a call for your free consultation. Get your business credit reports for free. Get a funding assessment for free. And do a fundability assessment all at no cost. It happens by giving us a call at 877-600-2487. Troy says Granger. I agree. Granger is also a great account to build the initial business credit. And I look forward to seeing you on our other training. We talk about more cool ways to get money for your business. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week where we talk about more cool ways to get money to start and grow your business. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. And I look forward to